Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to talk about something that affects millions of men but often goes unspoken, the absent father. We're diving into the work of psychoanalyst Guy Corneau to really understand the deep psychological impact this has on sons, and, maybe more importantly, how you start to heal from it. Okay, let's just sit with this quote for a second. It's powerful, right? Corneau is getting right to the heart of the matter here. He's talking about a feeling so many men know all too well. This disconnect from a father who was, physically there, but emotionally a total ghost. And that silence, man, it becomes this legacy that shapes everything about how a son sees himself and his place in the world. So let's start this journey by looking at the wound itself, this idea of the absent father. But here's the thing, and it's really important. This is way more complex than just an empty chair at the dinner table. And here's the key. This isn't just about divorce or a dad who lives 1,000 miles away. Corneu's whole point about the absent father is about a failure to connect. He'd to be there every single day, but it's the silence, that lack of emotional availability. That's what creates this huge void in a son's life. And the fallout from this? It's huge. I mean, think about it. Without a father to show you what a healthy emotional life even looks like, sons are just left with this really fragile sense of their own masculinity. They can spend their entire lives feeling like they're not good enough, always looking for that pat on the back they never got. It's like being handed a car with no steering wheel, no map, and being told, okay, go navigate adulthood, intimacy, and vulnerability. Good luck, right?
Okay, so what do you do with that inner void? Well, according to Corneau, you put on a play. He calls it the theater of virility. Men start playing roles, but these aren't who they really are. They're just performances, masks they wear to hide this deep, deep insecurity.
And Corneau lays out these really interesting archetypes, these common masks men put on. You've got Bob the hero, the guy who's always chasing success but secretly feels like a total fraud. Then there is Vince the good boy, who will do anything to avoid a fight. Oh, and Eric the eternal adolescent, always running from commitment. And of course, Peter the seducer, who uses one superficial relationship after another to avoid getting real. See, they look different, but it's all just hiding the same wound. That need for a father's guidance that was never met.
And at the end of the day, that's all they are. Roles. Performances. They're fueled by this desperate hunger for approval. Corneau says that empty space inside just gets filled up with these fantasies about what a real man is supposed to be. The strong, silent type, the rebel, the ladies' man. But the problem is, none of those cardboard cutouts leave any room for an actual, authentic person to show up.
So, what's really going on underneath all these masks? What's the real battle happening inside? Well, Corneau points to this fundamental energy that every boy is born with. But without a father to help guide it, that energy gets all tangled up and repressed. And this is where we get to a really crucial internal struggle. Now, when Corneau uses the term primal aggression, let's be super clear. He is not talking about violence. Not at all. He means that drive, that assertive, vital energy you need to go after your goals and figure out who you are. But without a father to show you how to channel that energy in a healthy way, how to be disciplined, how to stand up for what you believe in, it just gets bottled up. And that's when it can become really destructive. So this puts a man at a fork in the road, right? That pent-up energy can turn inward and become self-hatred or hostility towards others, or it can be channeled into awakening what Corneau calls an inner warrior. And again, this healthy warrior isn't about being aggressive to other people. It's about taking that power and using it for discipline, for purpose, and even for compassion. Okay, so we've looked at the wound, the masks, and the inner conflict. The big question is, what's the way out? What's the path to healing? For Corneau, the answer is simple, but not easy. Since the father was absent, the man has to learn how to become his own father. And here's the thing about this healing journey. It almost never starts because you just decide one day to do it. Usually, it gets kickstarted by a crisis, a divorce, losing a job, a really deep depression. Corneau actually calls this a beneficial depression, which sounds weird, right? But he sees it as an initiation. It's the moment the old masks just don't work anymore. They shatter, and it forces a man to finally truly look at his pain and start the real work of growing up. So Corneau lays out a pretty clear roadmap for how to give yourself what you never got. Step 1 is letting go of all that baggage from the past. Then you start an inner dialogue, really listening to your own emotions to figure out what you need. That opens the door to the really big one, breaking the silence, talking about this stuff with yourself and maybe with others. And all of this leads to the main event, self-fathering,
That means actually mourning the ideal dad you never had, and then learning to give that validation, that care, to yourself.
And this whole journey leads to something Corneau calls a third birth. Think of it like this. Your first birth is from your mother. Your second is supposed to be into the world of men, with your father as your guide. But if that second birth never really happened, or it was incomplete, then this third birth becomes absolutely essential. It's the moment a man is finally born of his own deep self, no longer defined by his parents, but by his own authentic whole identity. So to wrap this all up, Corneau brings up the myth of the Fisher King, the wounded king whose injury makes his entire kingdom a wasteland. And his point is that, in a way, we all share that wound, a wound of disconnection. So we'll leave you with this question. It's not about if you have a wound. The real question is, what's the first step you can take to start healing your own?